Download is one of the biggest rock and metal festivals in the world. Located at Donington Park in the heart of England, Download hosts up to 110,000 people each year who come on a pilgrimage to experience a place acknowledged by some of the biggest bands of all time as the home of heavy metal. If you're making the journey to the hallowed grounds this year, then here is your ultimate guide to Download. Download Festival takes place over 5 days across the second full weekend in June. This year it all starts on Wednesday the 12th and ends on Monday the 17th, with the music itself taking place on the Friday, Saturday and Sunday in between. The festival is held at Donington Park Racetrack, nestled between the three Midland cities of Derby, Nottingham and Leicester. It's right next door to East Midlands Airport, more about that later on, and just south of the village of Castle Donington. Because Download like to leave things quite late, we currently don't have any information for the travel info, the site layout or the set times, so I'm going to let Future Gibby give you that right now. Thank you past me. Yes, we do now have the site and everything confirmed. So let's go over everything, where everything is, where you need to be. Looking at this map in general, it's very similar to last year's. There are obviously a few little tweaks. So we'll go over the big ones first. West Car Park this year is only for certain ticket types. So if you've got a quiet camping ticket, or if you are a guest, if you are coming on a motorbike, or if you are part of the mini moshers, the family camping, you'll be allowed to park in West Car Park and enter the site through the gate just here. You don't have to go into the site and back out to get into Black anymore. You just go straight in where Black met Blue, where the food vans were. Where that track is, that'll be the new gate to enter the site from West Car Park. But again, you can only get in there with certain ticket types. Everybody else, if you are in general camping, needs to go to North Car Park. This means you'll have to come off the A50 at Junction 1 and take the turn off for Castle Donington Village. Don't go through the village. I think the road they've allocated goes around the village and you will enter where that gate meets Red Campsite. Now, Red Campsite is where the old Black camp used to be, where we used to camp. And the top half of Red Campsite is where Pink camp used to be. Now, the problem with this top part of Red Campsite where Pink used to be, it's in a bit of a valley, and running right the way down the middle of this top part of Red Campsite is a bit of a ravine. And in 2016, that's where the famous photos were taken, where there was a literal river running through the bottom of the campsite. So if the weather looks like it's going to be quite bad, this might not be the best place to camp. You might want to make sure that you are up on either side of the hill down there. Orange Campsite is where it always is. Orange again is on a slope, so maybe not the best idea if you are looking for something a bit flat. Purple Campsite, we haven't camped in Purple before, but from what I hear, it's quite hilly but overall quite flat. And what I mean by that is that it's not really steep hills, it's more just bumpy. And then you've got Green Campsite, half of which is eco camping, another part of it is the Camping Plus. So if you do have a Camping Plus ticket, you will have to come in through the North Car Park as well. Walk to basically where Green Camp is, and then in the corner of Green Camp, that's where you'll find Camping Plus. Eco camping is on the far side of Green Camp, and this will be fenced off. And then the middle section of Green Camp is just for the general camping. On the other side of the site then you have Black and Blue Camp, same as last year, but things are changed around quite a little bit. Guest Campsite now is taking up half of Black Camp. Same with the Guest Car Park. That area is where the Mini Moshers site was last year. And the other half of Black Camp is now taken up by the extension of District X, but we'll come to that more in a minute. Blue Camp has now been extended into one long site that will join the field where the yellow quiet camping is. In the corner of Blue Camp there, you can see the lone wolf symbol, which means if you're coming camping on your own, this is an area of the campsite where everybody who's there is going to be camping on their own. If you'd like to see more about lone wolf camping, then there are Facebook groups set up for people to get to know people a little bit before the festival. But everybody's really friendly. Everybody knows that everybody else is there on their own. So I think everybody tends to look after each other throughout the weekend as well. Each campsite will have its own toilets, recycling points, water points, food vendors, and security hubs as well. So if you need anything, you don't have to go any further than the campsite that you're in. But again, remember that if you are trying to camp in Blue or Black, you will not be allowed to park in West Car Park. If you are general camping, you must come in North Car Park and walk all the way through. It is going to be a bit of a walk, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately, this year. If you have a quiet camping ticket, then you will be able to walk straight up the hill to this yellow campsite at the top, and Mini Moshers is right next door to it for the family camping. In the middle of the racetrack, we have the Ready to Rock camping. This is where you have the pre-pitched tents that you can book ahead of time. so you don't have to bother with setting a tent up when you get there. Same with the campervan areas. The Campervan Plus site is in the middle of the racetrack as well. All your RIP camping is the red parts of this map on the bottom here. They're all accessible through Blackgate. Everything will be signposted nearer to the site, so make sure you're following the right routes to where you need to be. And if you get lost, then there will be stewards on hand to help you out. The transport hub here, right next to North Car Park, that's where all the shuttle buses and the big green coach, any taxis, or if you're getting dropped off and picked up, that's where you'll head to, the transport hub there. And then finally, South Car Park is for day and weekend arena ticket holders only. So if you haven't got a camping ticket and you're only coming for the arena, then South Car Park is the only car park you'll be available to park in. All the accessible camping is right here in like kind of turquoisey colour, sandwiched between the RIP and the arena. When you're coming into the site, you want to head for Purple Gate. You'll be able to drive along this little road, turn around the roundabout and go into the main facility. This is where all the parking is for access weekend parking. And remember that this year they are being really strict about the car park situation after what happened last year. So we've been told that if you do try and go to West Car Park, if you have a general ticket, you will be turned away because they won't have wristbands on that gate. So you don't want to waste your own time queuing up to get in the car park, loading the trolley up, getting in the queue for the wristband, only to find out that you're at the wrong gate and you have to go all the way around to North Car Park anyway. If you're coming off the M6 at Stoke and then heading down the A50 towards Derby, what we would normally do is turn off at junction 3 on this road towards Melbourne, but now instead you'll have to turn off at junction 1 and come through Castle Donington Village. If you're coming off the M1, what would normally happen is you would follow the road past East Midlands Airport, but due to a lot of issues with the traffic last year, I think they're trying to direct people from that direction up again onto the A50 at junction 1 so that everyone meets there and the traffic comes into North Car Park from the north through the Castle Donington Village. I think the aim is that this way it leaves room for all the drop-off to use that road without getting stuck in the traffic. So that's just your basic overview of the campsite and the traffic situation. There's a lot of changes this year, so it is going to get a bit confusing, but once you get nearer to the site, they've recommended to turn off your sat-nav and just follow the big yellow signs to wherever you need to be. That's all from me for now. Back to past Gibby to carry on. Thanks for that, future Gibby. I'm really glad that Download don't leave things until the very last minute. So if you've got a 5-day ticket, you're on the site, your camp's all set up, and the music doesn't start for 2 days, what is there to do? Well, as mentioned, the former village area is now called District X. This is like the hub of the campsite. This is where all the entertainment that isn't all the bands on the main lineup are going to be. This is where you'll find all the nightlife. There's a fairground, a food court, loads of traders, a couple of bars as well. If you need any camp supplies, this is where you'll find all your helpful places like Fat Frank's, Military Mart and a few others. They sell everything from tents to boots and all the accessories you'll need to survive the weekend. And there's even a co-op on site, which is a little bit more expensive than a supermarket in the real world, but for festival prices it's not bad at all, and it's an absolute godsend when you run out of food or booze. It does have a bit of a limited range, and they do tend to sell out quite quickly, especially if the weather's nice, but they do get big deliveries of stock every day, and you'll often see the staff stocking out as you're walking around. On the Wednesday, the co-op will be open from midday. Every other day it'll be open from 7 AM, and every night it will close at 3 AM. But just remember that that's the closing time. You might not be allowed in after 2:30. If you're looking for stuff to do each night, then you've got a couple of different stages full of entertainment. You've got a couple of bar areas as well. There are club nights going on each night until 3 AM. This year that includes a guest DJ set from Charlie Simpson from Busted, an acoustic set from Bowling for Soup, and loads of other club nights from up and down the UK. There's also lots of live podcasts available to watch throughout the day. There's going to be hot dog and chili eating contests. There's also survival skills demonstrations, a skate park, a gaming station, and they're going to be showing the live matches for England and Scotland at the Euros. The main arena will only be open for the Friday, Saturday and Sunday. On the Friday, it normally opens at midday with the music starting at 1 PM, and on the Saturday and Sunday, it usually opens at 10 AM with the music starting at 11 AM. Each night the bands will finish just before 11 PM, and then after that they ask that you do leave the arena quite quickly and either head back to camp or head back to the car park if you've got a day ticket. The path to and from the arena is a little bit of a walk. It's probably about 15 minutes each way if you're in the nearest campsite, and remember that at the end of each night there are going to be tens of thousands of people all trying to head the same way. On the way into the arena there'll be a security checkpoint. Here they'll just check your wristband, do a few searches, search any bags that you've got with you. If you're taking a bag in, then it can't be any bigger than A4 size, so a bum bag or a shoulder bag is absolutely perfect. You won't be allowed to take in any food or drink unless specified by a medical note. You can bring in an empty bottle to refill at one of the water points, but just remember that this has to be smaller than 500 millilitres. You can take your camp chairs in if you're like us and you're getting on a bit and you need to sit down throughout the day, but just remember that if you're taking it in a bag, then security might need to search it. Some other things that you'll be allowed to take in are flags if it's not on a pole, medication if you've got a doctor's note with you, and power banks. If there's anything that you're unsure of whether you'll be allowed it in the arena, then there's a full list of prohibited items on the download website, but pretty much everything outside of what we've just said is not allowed. There are 4 stages in the arena. The Apex stage, which is the main stage, is directly ahead of you as you go in. It's a massive stage at the bottom of the hill, you cannot miss it. The Opus stage, which is the second stage, is on the left hand side as you come in. The Avalanche stage, which is the third stage, is in a big marquee on the far left of the site. This is accessible either if you go to the far left of the second stage and cut through a little track, or head down to the main stage, turn left by the bar and head through there. Finally, you have the Dogtooth stage, which is the 4th stage. This is as you come in on the right hand side as you're heading down the hill towards the main stage. There are lots of bars and food vendors located near each stage. For the top 2 stages, the Apex and the Opus stages, the 2 outdoor stages, you can literally stand in the queue while you're getting food and still be able to see the bands. However, if you buy the Avalanche stage, then the nearest bar is a craft only bar. So if you want a lager or something like that, you'll have to head back to the main stage and come back again. There's loads of variety for food vendors. You've got everything from typical burgers and fries to Greek, noodles, pizza, loads of veggie and vegan options too. The download crowd is really friendly. Everyone's there to just have a good time, and people will always look after someone if they look like they're in need. There's also lots of security and stewards patrolling the site at all times, making sure that everybody's safe, making sure everybody's okay. So if you ever run into any problems, there's always going to be somebody who can help you out. Although there's an area of the campsite called Mini Moshes, there's not really any specific children's activities, although there are lots of fairground rides in both District X and the arena. The site is quite hilly and uneven, and because it's so big, there is usually a lot of walking involved. If you do have any access needs, then there's an access camp available closer to the arena entrance, but you'll need to go through the official registration available on the download website. Now, this is Download's 21st year, and in that time the community have developed some cultural things that you might need to be aware of if you've never been before. As we said earlier, Download is located next to East Midlands Airport, and there's going to be planes landing and taking off throughout the festival. So the community have turned this into a game. If you see or hear a plane in the sky, then it is your job to shout "plane" as loud as you can so that the entire campsite can hear, and then everyone takes a drink. Everyone is automatically involved in this game. It doesn't have to be an alcoholic drink, so don't feel any pressure to, but the rule is everyone takes a drink. When you're coming back from the arena of a night time, there's going to be tens of thousands of other people all heading the same way, so don't be surprised to hear some spontaneous a cappella sing-alongs. If you know the words to the song, you are legally required to join in, and feel free to start your own. The cheesier or sillier, the better. As with most festivals, the phone signal isn't great, so if we're trying to get in touch with people, what we do is arrange a meeting point as soon as we go into the arena. So before we head back to camp, at least we can do a quick head count to make sure everybody's safe, everybody's okay, and then we'll all head back together. Your best bet is to arrange to meet up at an easily recognisable landmark. Sometimes we've gone for the big Ferris wheel, other times we've gone for the Safe Gigs for Women tent, other times we've gone for the Fudge bus, although they moved it last year so we had to make other plans. But the medical tent's a good one just to check if anybody's ended up in there. Just remember not to block any doorways or routes in and out. I believe most vendors do accept cash. I know everywhere takes card unless the system's down for whatever reason. There have been some stories in recent years that people were being overcharged for things, but a great way to navigate this is to ask to put your card in rather than using contactless, and then you can see the amount that you're being charged on the screen. As I said before, you're not allowed to take drinks with you into the arena, but you are allowed to take drinks with you into District X, so make sure you load yourself up from your campsite before you head down for a great night of entertainment. If you do want to keep the party going until sunrise, just remember that not everybody wants to party all night, so just be respectful to everybody around you. Some of the food vendors in District X might close around 3 AM as well, but most of the ones in the campsite will stay open 24-hour. A really big thing to remember is that Download practices leave no trace. This means it's common courtesy to put all your rubbish at your campsite into bin bags, take them to the nearest recycling point throughout the weekend or at the end of the festival. These are usually located near the toilet blocks in each campsite, or at the end of the festival leave them in a nice tidy spot at your campsite, and then a member of the cleanup staff can easily come round and collect them. If you don't have bin bags, don't worry, stewards will have some available for free if you need them. If your tent and all your camping gear is fine and usable, then remember to try and take it with you. If you can't take it with you, then take it to a recycling point, or take it to a steward hub where they might be able to donate it to a charity. As I said, this is all part of the Leave No Trace campaign, so we can keep festival sites tidy and we can keep coming back year on year. So now that we've covered the site and everything the festival has to offer, let's talk about what you need to do to make the weekend as enjoyable as possible. Make sure you've got the right camping gear. We recently uploaded a video going through everything you'll need for a festival and how to budget, as well as a separate video looking at different types of tents you might need for different needs. So go and check those videos out if you need help with all your camping needs. They'll both be available in a card at the end of this video. Make sure you've got enough clothes to last you for the full 5 days if that's how long you're going. And don't forget a spare change of clothes for the Monday morning to come home in. The last thing you want to be doing is getting back into your car covered in sweaty clothes or dust or mud. What I tend to do is take a t-shirt, a pair of socks and a pair of underwear, put them into a separate plastic bag, tie that up and stick it into my actual rucksack. Do that 5 times so I've got an outfit for each day, and then all I need to do each morning is put my hand into the bag, take out the carry bag full of clothes I've got for that day, and then that way I'm not getting clothes all over the tent. For your legs, you're going to need a pair of joggers or something to keep you warm in the night, especially when you're coming out of a crowd and all of a sudden you can get cold quite quickly. Shorts are a must as well, or something that'll give you a bit of a breeze. Basically be prepared for all kinds of weather. This is a British summertime festival you're talking about, so literally anything could happen. Feel free to dress however you want, nobody's going to judge you at Download, and if they do, then they'll be judged even harder. It's not a fashion parade, people will celebrate people just being themselves. Hoodies and lightweight jackets will be perfect for the daytime. You might need a big coat at night, again it does get quite cold. Sometimes if we get really lucky you can get away with a shirt and shorts combo, but this is very rare. One of the most important things to think about is your footwear. Now you're going to be on your feet for most of the 5 days, so you're going to need something that's going to be comfortable but also durable. If you want more information about that, again check out our equipment video. Ponchos are an absolute must. I don't care what the forecast says, I don't care if it says that not a drop of rain will land on the site the entire weekend. Bring ponchos. You can get really cheap ones for less than £1 that do the job perfectly, but believe me, it's better to have one and not need it than to need one and be without. Some places will sell ponchos on site, but if it does start pouring down and everyone's trying to buy a poncho at the same time, they might run out of stock. So just make sure you've got a few with you just in case. Every year, Download has a Fancy Dress Friday with a different theme each time. This year's theme is gaming icons, so find the Mario to Luigi, grab your diamond pickaxe and come and get involved. Whether you're wanting to stay in touch with people while you're on site or taking photos or videos while you're there, you're going to need a power bank. There are chargers available on site if you go to the Charge Candy station. More info about that in our budget tips video again. But if you bring your own, then you can use it as many times as you want. What we've done in the past is get a locker between us all, and that way you can put a power bank on charge while you're using one, and then you can just rotate them when the power runs out. A few other essentials to think about are toiletries like toothpaste and a toothbrush. It sounds obvious, but people do forget. If you do forget, then they usually sell them at the co-op, but again, this is going to be at an inflated price. Something that I never go to a festival without anymore is baby wipes. Every morning, just take a baby wipe and rub it behind your ears. Gets rid of all the sweat that's built up during the night. As your tent's been getting hotter and hotter, you don't realise how much sweat's actually built up. So just taking a baby wipe and running it behind your ears is the perfect way to freshen yourself up first thing. Even though the toilets at Download are known for being quite hygienic and well stocked, take your own toilet rolls just in case. The last thing you want to be doing is being in desperate need, getting into the cubicle and then finding out there's nothing there. And finally, a piece of advice that I need to take myself: bring sun cream. You do not want to see footage of me in 2018 watching Guns N' Roses with my arms ripped open because I didn't put sun cream on. Will I ever learn? Probably not, but don't make the same mistakes that I did. Be better. So that's everything you need to know about Download Festival 2024. Are you going for the first time this year and you think maybe there's something that we've missed? Or have you been before and you think there's any tips that people should know? Let us know in the comments down below. Last year we did a video similar to this and there was a lot of helpful information in the comments that you guys shared between yourselves as well. If you want to check out what it's really like at Download, then you can go and watch our vlog from last year, which will be available in a card at the end of this video. We'll be there this year as always, so if you do see us there, feel free to come and say hello. If you want to see everything that we get up to at this year's festival, the vlog will be coming out soon after. So click subscribe down below, hit the notification bell, and when that video drops, as well as all the massive things we've got coming over this summer, you'll be the first to see them. The links to all our socials are in the description down below if you want to come over there and follow us, find out where we're going to be and what we've got going on. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see something really similar to that, you can click up here and watch that. And if you want to see something that's absolutely not that, completely different to that, click up here and watch that. And you should just subscribe to us here. Thank you.